U.S. Supreme Court has handed down major opinions on privacy, voting, and presidential power.
Atlanta News First anchor Gravir Dinza joins us this morning to take us through those filings. Gravir.
Some big rulings before they go on their summer break starting in July. First, the Supreme Court ruled that states can count ballots that arrive after Election Day. They rejected a Republican-led challenge to late-arriving mail ballots. More than a dozen states, not Georgia, allow certain ballots to be counted after Election Day if they meet the state's deadlines. Here in Georgia, absentee ballots have to arrive before the polls close Election Day. Another decision says that police need to get a warrant for cell phone location data. The High Court determined that that data is protected under the Fourth Amendment. Excuse me, that ruling is a defeat for the Trump administration, which had argued against the warrants. And the Supreme Court rejected President Donald Trump's attempt to fire Federal Reserve Governor and Georgia native Lisa Cook. He had accused Cook of mortgage fraud, which she denied. In another ruling, the Supreme Court did allow the president to fire officials at independent agencies, such as the Federal Trade Commission. 4 more rulings are expected from the Supreme Court. They do include 2 decisions on transgender sports bans, birthright citizenship, and a case involving campaign finance limits.